Welcome back to Sugar Mama's Fireplay. I am your host, financial planner, Canna Campbell, and today we're going to drop the whole financial planner chat and just talk, you and me, about something deeply personal. Now, back last month, you may have seen on my Instagram accounts, Sugar Mama TV and Canna Campbell Official, I was doing my version of 75 Hard. And for those of you who are not familiar with 75 Hard, it's basically a habit stacking challenge that really focuses on, transformational growth and development, physically, emotionally, even spiritually, if you like. And I did my own version of this, which I'm actually doing all over again because I got so much out of it. Anyway, within the habits, and my habits range from, exercise to journaling to reading, I included this particular course, which I have actually touched on before. It's called the Phoenix Program, and it's created by a guy called Jamie Ryder. And I had previously commenced this course and gotten to the thick of it, but I kept on hitting blocks. I just found parts of it really hard. So when I started my version of 75 Hard, I decided to dedicate one of my habits to getting through this course from start to finish. And so I literally went back to square one again, started all over, and I actually got through the whole entire course. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because this particular personal growth and development course that I did by Jamie Ryder, it was raw, it was incredibly real, and it was at times confronting. But honestly, it helped heal me. What it made me do was become more powerful as a person. It was incredibly cost effective. There was no fluff. There was no overpriced therapy sessions and coaching sessions that would put even my budget at breaking point at this time. Just deep, soulful work that really helped shift the way that I see myself, my patterns, my sense of self-worth, and my boundaries. So in today's episode, I want to talk you through what I went through, what this program entailed, and how it actually impacted me, and why I think it's worth considering and potentially investing in for yourself if you are craving some, more than surface level change, but you are perhaps time poor, on a budget, and like me, I actually had a lot of trouble building trust with someone and didn't have the physical or emotional energy to meet someone new, a new therapist, for example, explain everything and also have to backtrack and explain everything. So I guess if you're on a budget and you need professional help, particularly in an area of trauma, this could be something very, very powerful and financially friendly. So let's get started and let me open up and share with you as I become, really quite vulnerable with you this morning. Okay, deep breaths. I have no idea how this episode is going to come out, but I really hope you enjoy it because I'm actually a little bit shy and a little bit nervous in sharing this with you. So, first of all, why did I take this course? So, to be honest, I needed help. I was carrying something that was very complicated. I was really struggling with. I felt really hurt. It was impacting my sleep. It was at times triggering me and sending me to a very dark place, and I was stuck. And yes, I have done professional therapy for over 11 years. But as I've shared with you previously, my therapist retired. She worked with me for 11 years. And my psychiatrist who helps me with my ADHD and Tom together said, Canna, you finished up with your therapist when she retired. You haven't seen anyone else. We were hoping you'd be okay. You'd be okay to fly on your own, but you're not. You need to keep working on this. And I desperately didn't want to start all over again. It took me a long time to trust that particular therapist. And I just didn't have it in me to go and see someone, explain my history, go through all the things, and just didn't want to do that. And also, obviously, with the previous interest rate rises that we had and the rising cost of living, our budget's really tight. So having to spend, $200 to $300 per session with someone, I just didn't want to do that to ourselves. Like that to me represents like a load of groceries, and that's sort of where my point is. Anyway, I did admit I needed help. So I said to Tom and my psychiatrist, I said, can you just give me a chance to try something different? And I came across this guy, Jamie Ryder, on TikTok. Now, if you want, go and jump on his TikTok account. It's amazing. I think he's got like 500 or 600 videos that focus a lot around abuse, narcissism, boundaries, self-worth. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like his stuff he explains in a very safe way, nurturing way, but it really it allows you to see something from a different perspective. But also he forces you to take ownership of where you've contributed as well. Now I jumped on his website and I booked a free 15-minute call with him, and he spent I think almost an hour with me, and it was amazing. He is exactly as you see him on TikTok. He is kind, he is nice, but also he will hold you to account. If he wants you to see your patterns and he wants you to change you. This is not about fixing other people. It's about you doing the work for yourself. And that's why I found it very, very empowering talking to him. Anyway, after going through his programs with him and working out what was the right one for me, I enrolled in the Phoenix program. Now, I did buy the more advanced, more expensive version so I could have access to Jamie if I got stuck. I didn't actually use it because his courses was good enough for me to actually go all the way through, and it made sense, and it really worked. So let me quickly explain to you what the Phoenix program really is actually all about. So it's a online program. It's self-paced and it's videos. There's some practical exercises, a little bit of journaling, and it focuses on, I guess, rebirth and shedding those self-imposed limiting identities, and really goes to the core of the problem so that you can rise up, emotionally strong, like obviously rising of the phoenix. And I invested probably about 10 to 20 minutes each morning, to do this type of work. And I will point out, like, by no means am I downgrading psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists. This is something I think complements it. But he is a relationship coach and a certified neuro-linguistic practitioner and life coach. And it's, as I said, it's videos, it's exercises, he explains everything, and he shows you, where you are, and he makes you accountable as to, how you've contributed. But he does it in a very gentle, nurturing, and empowering way. So it's very different to what I had done over 11 years of therapy. And I will say this, I think because I've done so much work and therapy, I felt safe doing this. I was ready to do this. And he taught me so much through this course. I learned about hope versus expectations, which is why I often get sad and disappointed. He taught me how to see red flags in situations and in people. He also allowed me to finally discover my own sense of belief and self-worth and see what is going on in my life as to, so I can move forward as to what serves me or what actually holds me back. And, he teaches you how to, find your own boundaries. One of probably the most powerful words I took out of this was the word discernment, where you can actually stop and look at something in a detached way with a rational sense of judgment, which for me, as someone who's highly emotional, super hypersensitive, can really spiral out of control. I had no discernment in my life. And he teaches you how to detach from past traumas, toxic relationships, traumatic events, those things. And I'd never been able to do this before. This was the first for me. And it was insightful. I realized in doing this work, I had a lot of suppressed memories, but I came out the other side with a really deep, rich understanding of myself and the clarity that I needed to change, to build a healthy, happier life. I learned to let go of control, let go from like people pleasing, which I established as a child, how to, face those inner narratives that we've created from work, from childhood, from relationships, and, how to actually build a healthier, more respectful inner dialogue. And he gives you a whole pile of like tools and exercises that you can practice whilst doing this course, which are really powerful. And I had so many aha moments and I had so many breakthroughs. You could even almost, I think, do a lot of this work in his course and apply it to your own financial journey or fire journey. And in fact, if Jamie Ryder actually gets a copy of this episode and listens to it, let me know if you would be interested in doing a course around this, around money, because I think as I did this course, I actually discovered something about myself and about my money story and my money journey, which is really has helped me break through from something that was restrictive, rigid, controlling, and manipulative. So if this, you can apply this course to your relationship with money, I believe. When I finally finished this course, and I did it through over a course of 75 days, I actually finished it probably about a week or two before my 75 challenge finished. I actually had a little bit of withdrawal symptom. I actually felt I was missing it. But also at the same time, I had such an incredible shift in my mindset, my habit system, and I felt lighter. I felt far more mentally stable. I also felt really unaffected. When things in my day would go wrong, or something from my past would be re-triggered, it didn't have an impact on me. I was really unaffected. And I definitely feel a greater, deeper sense of being genuinely happier and calmer, and that giving me that awareness to now see that I can do things differently. And my previous traumas, you could say, and um, like the complexity of why I went and did this course just completely broke down and literally just turned to ashes. I was no longer fighting within myself. And, I now understand the importance of a quality relationship, a respectful relationship. And I'm so excited that I have this awareness now, and I have so much more clarity in my life. It is, I can't even use the right words to explain how much of an impact this has had for me. So if you are someone who needs help, is stuck with something, can't move forward, keeps coming back, repeating patterns, repeating habits, even in an element of self-destruction, can I recommend going and exploring this course, because it has been transformational, as it says. So who would I recommend this course for? So anyone who's, as I said, on a budget, is time poor, because literally I did this 10, 20 minutes a day and emotionally stuck. And I really think that if you are on your financial journey, doing this sooner rather than later will actually serve you. As I mentioned, this has actually added value to my own financial journey. I've learned to let go of control. And not that I was a controlling person, but I can see how control was used on me in the past. I can see it now how I was manipulated, and I can see how I will make sure that I never behave in a way like that. That is toxic. I can also see the psychological impact of those and how it did affect me previously and how I'm rebuilding myself now. I feel so much more relaxed, and I have a greater sense of self-worth, which is a really beautiful thing for me to now have. And I can incorporate that in my own financial wellness journey, you could say. Now, I'm going to just end today's episode here. I know it's just a short one, but it's just something I really wanted to share with you. It's financially friendly. It's really appropriate for anyone that needs help, that can't afford it right now or can't access it right now, because it's obviously all done online. And for the record, this is not sponsored. This was not gifted to me. This is something that has added a huge amount of value in my life and has really helped me get back on my feet again with something I've been dealing with for too many years. I wish I had discovered this many, many years ago. And, I'd say that this program, the Phoenix program, it's reminded me that, personal growth and development, it doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be, these crazy weekend retreats or, reserved for the spiritually elite. The real transformation, the real growth, it comes from when we are committed to do that inner work. Sit and be quiet. Go deep. And be consistent, but also be courageous when those times you think, oh, this is really uncomfortable. I don't like that. I don't like thinking about that. That scares me. That feels nervous. Keep going with that, because you go deep and you come out the other side to a very, very different location, like a beautiful location. So if you're feeling that, I guess, something in your life's got to change, enough's enough, and whether it be your finances, your mindset, your childhood, your history, your identity, maybe this is your sign or this is your invitation to explore an online course that's focused around, going to the heart of the problem, removing that toxin, that poison. I said to a girlfriend the other day, I feel like I've been walking around my entire life with a poisonous rose thorn in my spine. And it's always hurt, it's always been sore, but I've never really understood what was going on in my spine because I couldn't see my spine. Now someone's given me a mirror, and I've been able to use the mirror to see what's going on my back, in my back. And I've been able to pull that thorn out. And it is no longer injecting me with a source of toxic poison. I've pulled it out on my own, and it's already starting to heal. And that poison is no longer ruminating through my body. This is what this course has given me. So, all right, there is your sign to explore. I'm going to link Jamie Ryder's details, his website, his TikTok account, his Instagram account, so you can go and check it out for yourself. And just so you know, his TikTok account is where he's most active. That's where he's got all these amazing videos to go and explore for yourself. So thank you, everyone, for joining me, but also sitting with me and holding the space with me for today's episode. If this episode resonated with you, can you please share it with someone that you think would benefit from it? Can you also please take a moment to leave me a rating and review and send me a DM on Instagram as to what you thought about today's episode? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'd love to hear or know what sparked for you. And of course, in the meantime, keep that financial fire and of course personal fire burning bright within. This is Sugar Mama's Fireplace.